Let's jump right in. We are looking at an invisible, incredibly powerful force that is fundamentally transforming the spaces we live, work, and commute in. I'm talking, of course, about artificial intelligence. In this explainer, we're going to explore how AI has literally invaded the design world, completely changing daily design workflows, and what this actually means for the architects who build our environments.
To really set the stage for you, check out this quote from the renowned architect Wolf Pree. He asks, "Is it just a fashion? Will it kill us?" And that right there perfectly frames the core tension we're unpacking today. On one hand, AI is being heralded as this unprecedented, almost magical tool for human imagination. But on the flip side, it's genuinely feared as a potential existential threat to the entire architectural profession. Section 1. The new architectural paradigm. Because the truth is, generative AI hasn't just politely knocked on the door of the architectural community. It's spread like wildfire. Just look at this incredibly atmospheric image of a coastal house nestled in the dunes. This wasn't painstakingly rendered over weeks by a team of digital artists. Nope, it was generated using Midjourney from a few simple text prompts. It really shows just how shockingly proficient AI has become at generating highly convincing, beautiful 2D architectural compositions in a matter of seconds. And what's wild is that this isn't some far-off sci-fi concept. The AI invasion in design is happening right now. It's already dominating progressive academic design studios. But even more importantly for daily operations, it's embedded directly into standard software like Autodesk Forma and Xcool. It's out there processing complex site information to maximize space, and it's even being used to control robotic fabrication technologies on actual assembly lines. Section 2. A co-pilot for creativity. So you might be wondering, how are elite firms actually using this to augment their imaginations? Well, take a look at these side-by-side images. This is from a research initiative called Deeps Himmelbau by the firm Coop Himmelblau. They use what are called cyclegans, which is essentially a specialized neural network that can translate one type of image into another. By feeding the AI images of natural geomorphic forms along with their massive archive of past projects, the AI rapidly hallucinates new, highly coherent architectural interpretations that still embody the firm's distinctive design language. It's literally like giving their collective creative brain a supercharger. But there is a critical boundary line here. As Wolf Pree states, pretty clearly, the architects should be in the front seat and AI in the back. So the takeaway is that AI is viewed as this incredible coworker that supports and expands your thinking. It suggests forms, it iterates endlessly, but the human being must absolutely remain the driver of the creative vision. Let's see how another legendary firm takes this concept even further into their workflow. During those super intense early stages of design competitions, Zaha Hadid Architects actually leverages tools like DALL-E 2, Midjourney, and Stable Diffusion to drastically increase their repertoire of possibilities. They can generate a vast range of options almost instantly, cherry-pick the best 10 to 15% of those AI-generated ideas, and then hand those over to their human teams to develop into actual 3D models. Section 3. Supercharging the daily workflow. Now let's pivot from conceptual ideation to the highly technical side of the job. How does AI actually speed up daily procedures and improve efficiency? To understand this, we've got to look at something called surrogate models. A surrogate model is essentially a computationally cheaper machine learning model. It's trained on massive amounts of simulation data, so can provide near real-time predictions about incredibly complex systems. For instance, the Applied Research and Development Group at Foster Plus Partners use these models to bypass heavy, time-consuming analytical computing. This gives their designers immediate, real-time feedback on really complex issues like spatial and visual connectivity. And guys, the efficiency leap here is absolutely staggering. Think about traditional analysis for things like structural deformation or solar radiation. That usually takes hours, sometimes days, for a computer to fully simulate. But with surrogate models, the AI predictions run in fractions of a second. Now, are they 100% accurate? No, they sit around 90 to 95% accuracy, but that is more than enough to let architects make highly educated decisions early in the process and iterate incredibly fast. Then you have these comprehensive platforms like Xcool, which you can see here, optimizing a complex urban design. This AI can assess a site, maximize space utilization, instantly check your design against complex local building codes, and simultaneously track the costs of the entire project. It's handling a massive cognitive load all at once, which really alleviates that exhausting crunch that human architects traditionally have to endure. So, to summarize this whole technical leap, AI is basically giving human designers superpowers. Whether it's through multi-objective optimization, GPU-based ray tracing, or even predicting how materials are going to deform under heat, AI is taking over the tedious, repetitive, heavy-lifting analytics. And this workflow augmentation drastically speeds up procedures, meaning architects get a lot more time to dedicate to what they actually love doing, the creative design process.
Section 4. Tool or existential threat.
Okay, but let's take a step back. What happens when machines start doing all that heavy lifting? This brings us to a fascinating dialectical debate. Is AI just a tool, or is it an existential threat to the profession? On the optimistic side of things, AI is viewed as a creative prosthesis. It liberates us, it expands the very definition of creativity, and acts as an indispensable tool for human imagination. But on the more pessimistic side, critics like Wolf Pre warn of what he calls zero-zero architecture. This is the real risk of algorithmic control leading to completely hollow artificial design. As he brilliantly puts it, it's like decaffeinated coffee. It looks like architecture, it smells like architecture, but it fundamentally lacks the human soul.
And looking at this visually striking image by Sofia Crespo, which extracts features from natural systems using neural networks, it brings up a pretty profound philosophical question. As the artist Memo Acton argues, humans are essentially just biological machines. So, can we really claim sole ownership of creativity, or is every new form we think we invent actually just a discovery of a mathematical form that was already sitting out there in the data space?
But stepping back from the philosophy for a second, let's look at the stark economic truth that's actually driving this revolution. Clients are going to explicitly demand AI. Why? Because it maximizes their return on investment. It cuts design time and maximizes site utilization. But here's the really precarious part for the professional. If the AI is doing a massive portion of the heavy lifting, clients might very well start demanding lower architectural fees. Ultimately, it's economics, not aesthetics, that will drive this mass adoption.
Section 5. The Architect of Tomorrow.
So, what does the future actually hold for the architect? Well, this quote right here perfectly captures the reality of the market. In the workplace of the future, architects using AI will replace architects that don't. So outright resistance to these tools, it's basically futile. Integrating AI to improve efficiency and speed isn't just some nice-to-have option anymore. Early adoption is quickly becoming a mandatory survival skill in a fiercely competitive landscape.
And this brings us to what I think is the ultimate analogy from our source material. Integrating AI into an architectural office is exactly like developing a self-driving car. At first, it's super exciting, right? The AI is just assisting with the driving, handling the tedious parts of the commute, keeping you in your lane, and giving the human driver these amazing new superpowers. But that leaves us with this final, genuinely provocative thought. If the AI eventually learns to successfully drive the car completely on its own, the human driver becomes totally redundant. So, as we push for ultimate workflow efficiency and automation, will the architect eventually disappear too? It's a fascinating question, and one the industry is definitely going to have to answer in the coming years. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll leave you with that to ponder.